welcome back to the Who Are You to Lead Anyway podcast, where we explore the nuances of leadership and the inner work that goes hand in hand with leading others. I am your host, Cynthia Jamieson, and today this is episode 107, and we are going to continue a conversation that began in our last episode, episode 106. And if you didn't listen to it, that's okay. You can go back. They're not mutually, you don't need to read one before the other. But last week, we talked about trust as the antidote to control, how trusting the process, others, and yourself can open up new possibilities and reduce the need to micromanage every detail. However, there is a deeper layer to this discussion, one that is essential for leaders at every level, which is this distinction between trust and self trust. So while these concepts are closely related, they're not the same. Now, understanding the difference can transform how you lead, how you connect with others, and how you navigate your personal and professional journey. So you might be asking, what's the difference between trust and self trust? At its core, trust is about placing confidence in something or someone outside of yourself. It's the belief that others will deliver, that the process will unfold as it should, or that the universe has a plan. Trust is vital in relationships and teams because it creates a foundation of reliability and security. So I'm sure that your experience is similar to mine, which is that without trust, collaboration falters and communication breaks down. But self-trust, that's something different. So self-trust is the deep-seated belief that you can rely on yourself. It's the confidence that you have the inner resources, like everything within you, to handle whatever comes your way, that your decisions are sound, and that your instincts are worth following. Self trust is about knowing that even when external circumstances are uncertain, you have what it takes to navigate through them. Now, why does this distinction matter specifically for leaders? Leadership demands often that we place trust in others, delegating tasks, empowering the team, and relying on the systems and processes that we need to rely on within the organizations that we work with to get done what we need to get done. And if we lack self trust, that external trust becomes shaky. So if we don't trust in ourselves that we have everything it takes to figure it out, then we become wobbly. It becomes shaky, right? What happens is without that self-trust, we find ourselves second guessing our decisions. We doubt our abilities. We hesitate to take risks. We hesitate to speak up. All the things, all of which can undermine our effectiveness as a leader. So here's why self-trust is so crucial for leaders. And it doesn't matter if you're a leader in a formal sense or leader in an informal sense, or you're just a human running your life. It still matters. Self-trust still matters. And here's why. So there are four things I want to talk about. The first is decision making. So leaders and humans, when we're faced with tough decisions, right, which happens all the time, when you trust yourself, you make decisions with clarity and confidence, even when the path forward isn't entirely clear, right? You're trusting yourself enough to take the next step. So that doesn't mean you won't make mistakes, but it does mean that you trust your ability to learn from them and to course correct if needed. It's like life is a series of temporary steps. If you get to the next one and something has happened, like there's nothing stopping you, it's not maybe a like one-way or two-way door, right? One-way door. If you decide to have a child, sometimes you can't, there's no coming back from that. But lots of decisions are two-way doors. You can totally make another decision. Now, so you can course correct if needed is the point. Now, authenticity is the second thing I want to talk about. So self-trust, when you trust in yourself, it allows you to lead authentically, which means you're staying true to you and your values and your vision. And when you trust in yourself, you're less likely to be swayed by external pressures or the opinions of other people. And this authenticity builds trust with those you lead because people can sense They get a sense, a felt sense. Is this leader genuine? Are they like, can I anticipate and expect how they're going to show up, that they're going to be themselves, the person that I have come to know and to like and to trust? This brings me to the third thing that's important here. Self-trust, there's like resilience. Self-trust is a cornerstone of resilience. It's the belief that no matter what challenge arises, that you have the strength and you have the resourcefulness and you have the ability to overcome. That inner confidence helps you stay grounded through tough times. And when you do that, here's the interesting thing, it's inspiring to others and they feel like they can do the same thing, right? This brings me to the fourth thing I want to talk about, empowerment. Leaders who trust themselves are better at empowering others. I mean, we could get into an entire conversation about what better even is. However, the point is, leaders who trust themselves are better at empowering others because when you have self trust, you're more comfortable delegating, you're more comfortable giving your team the autonomy that they need to grow because you're not threatened by others' strengths because you're secure in your own. Now, here's the interesting thing because building self trust isn't always easy. That's the work I do with clients. So many of us carry self doubt, which is normal. Fear of failure is normal, or the belief that we're not enough. Those are all normal things. And those internal barriers can erode self trust and, by extension, our ability to lead effectively. So, how can we strengthen our self trust? I have a few things for you to think about. I'm just going to give you four of them. And these are like anybody can use this for anything, anytime, anywhere to build self trust. The first is acknowledge your achievements. Take time to reflect on your successes that you've already had, big ones and small ones. Recognize the role that you played in achieving them and get specific. So when clients work with me and they have something amazing like a promotion, or they've led a really great meeting where they've had hundreds of people, I'm like, okay, we want to take a moment here and let's be really curious. How did you create that result? And let's get specific because your brain needs to see how you've done that. And that practice builds a positive internal narrative and reinforces your belief in your capabilities, right? That practice, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, you don't have to agree with me, but that's the antidote for imposter syndrome, which is another podcast for another time, perhaps. The second thing that you can do to strengthen your self trust is to listen to your inner voice. Pay attention to your instincts and your gut feelings. When you make a decision, take a moment to attune to what your inner voice is telling you. And over time, that practice will help you trust your intuition more, right? So if you are a human that is head led and you're disconnected from your body, that's going to be a bit of a challenge for you. This is the way back, right? It's just tuning in. Listen to your intuition. Your intuition knows. It knows. Full stop. And it's your brain that's looking to control. It's your ego that's looking to control, right? Because your brain and your ego want to avoid negative emotions like fear and judgment, shame, disappointment, all the things. And those are just emotions. And emotions are data. They're not necessarily true, not necessarily factual. They're data. And they come with messages. And so if you tune into them, by listening to your inner voice, you can also be curious about that. This brings me to the third way you can strengthen self trust, which is practicing self compassion. Now, I know I mentioned this last week, but it's so important to be kind to yourself, especially when things don't go as planned. This is where you would need to remind yourself that you made a decision to take a step. And even if the step, in retrospect, you wouldn't make the same step, it's not beating yourself up. It's recognizing, hey, I did the best that I could at the time. I made that decision at the time. That was the decision that I made. I don't want to use it against myself. I want to be compassionate with myself instead. Because when we treat ourselves with the same understanding and the same forgiveness, that we would offer a close friend, our self-trust grows. Now, this brings me to the fourth way to cultivate and strengthen our self-trust, which is boundaries, setting boundaries. Trusting yourself also means setting boundaries that honor your time, your energy, and your values. And when you respect your own limits, you might have to figure out what those are for yourself, right? But when you respect them, when you have them, you know what they are and you respect them, you reinforce the belief to yourself that you are worthy, that you are worthy of the care, you are worthy of the attention. And if you're not worthy, then who's worthy? Right? It's like, if not you, then who? If you don't have self trust in you, who's going to give that to you? If you wait for that to come outside of you, what happens when you don't get that? Right? This is where validation comes in. This is where justification comes in. This is where seeking other people's opinions comes in. These were all these micro behaviors that erode your self trust come in. So I've just given you the medicine. I just given you the prescription. Go give yourself the medicine. And I'm laughing with so much love and so much compassion because I feel you. And this is work that, I mean, I have done this for decades. This has been my work. So I just want to say to you, keep going. Nothing has gone wrong. You have what you need. I've given you the prescription. Go out, take the medicine, and let me know what happens. And in my closing to you today, remember, trust is the foundation upon which all relationships are built. But self trust is the cornerstone of being an effective leader. And the relationship you have with yourself is the one that is the most important that you will have for the entirety of your life. How you treat yourself matters. So as you work on building trust with others, do not forget to nurture the trust that you have within yourself. When you trust yourself, I promise you, I promise you, I promise you, you will lead with greater confidence, greater authenticity, and resilience. That's inspirational and magnetic. People will want to work with you. They will want to follow you. They will follow you wherever you're going. Now, I hope so much that the last two episodes have been super helpful. There is so much more to come for this. I'm not going to say what that is at this point, but that's all I have for you for today's episode. I want to thank you so much for joining me today on the Who Are You to Lead Anyway podcast. If this episode resonated with you, please let's connect. I would love to hear how you have built self trust in your leadership journey, or if this is an area of focus for you and you want to work together on building self trust. Let's connect for a clarity call on how I can help you. I promise it's free of charge. There's no strings attached. If I can't help you, I'll tell you. If I can help you, I'll tell you. You get to decide, and it doesn't have to mean anything other than we're exploring. The link is in the show notes. But until next week, keep leading with heart. And remember, self-trust is the key to unlocking your true potential as a leader that you want to be. Take care. I'll see you next week. Goodbye. Hey, leader. Thanks for tuning in to the Who Are You to Lead Anyway podcast. I hope today's episode inspired you to embrace your authentic leadership journey. I want to invite you to join my mailing list at www.cynthiajamiesoncoach.ca and claim your copy of Your Inner Compass, a guide to charting your course to authenticity. This guide will help you understand what truly matters most to you. My vision is to empower individuals to live and lead lives in harmony with their core values, become catalysts for positive change, and navigate transitions, all while fostering connection and belonging in the world. Lastly, your feedback shapes this show, so I would be honored if you would subscribe, rate, and review. Thank you so much for being a part of this community dedicated to authentic leadership. Together, let's make a meaningful difference in this world.